It's a kind of magic. It's a kind of magic.
Hello and welcome back, guys. Today we're going to do a mod review, and the mod we're going to review today is called Thaumcraft. It's all about magic and research and building magical contraptions. And I've built a little area to show you behind me and a little bit in front of me. As you can see, there's a candle. It's added by this mod actually. There's a lot of cool things in this mod, but there's also a lot of world generation. But before you fret, the cool thing about this is, in the config file, you can force it to generate all the stuff. So if you have an old save game and want to add this mod, you can force it to generate all the world's generation and still be able to play with your old map. So that's really cool. So let's look at what this mod adds to the game. First off, we have some new ores that will generate on the ground, and I'll just go out of creative mode. You can see we have this one here. If you mine that, you will get an amber. And amber can be, if you have 4 amber, you can make an amber block. It looks like this, and as you can see, it's a little see-through. And if you have 4 amber blocks, you can make amber bricks. That in itself are some cool stuff. But what's more important is, it has some, if you hold down shift, you can mouse over stuff in your inventory, and it will show you some aspects that these items have inside them. And amber have at least one that's a bit difficult to get hold of. So that's quite cool. You can see there's small numbers down in the right corner. That's how many of that particular aspect that's in it. If there's no number, there's just one. And this is important a bit later, and I will get into how it's used. But for now, I'll just say it's used in research and in and in most crafting. So the next ore we'll find is this. It's called cinnabar ore. And what you do with it, you put it in a furnace. And if you're playing with other mods as well, you won't be able to put it in a macerator, for instance, to get double output. But you do get this. It's quicksilver if you put it in a furnace. And it also has some aspects in it. And again, at least one of these are kinda hard to get other places. Then we have these. They are called infused stone, and the first 4 here, they are divided into the elements. So we have the fire one, the water one, the earth one, and the air one. You can see they drop these small crystal shards, and I believe they drop 1 to 3, but 3 is extremely rare and 1 is most common. And they're just called shards depending on what element they were from. The 2 last here, this one is called Vis infused ore, and the other is Dol infused ore. This is what this mod calls mana or magic. So this is basically just infused with magic. And it is purple. And then we have this last one, which is the Dol one, which means it's not holding anything particular. So you can see if you mouse over them, they hold a few different aspects. The Vis one only holds magic, but it holds more of them than the others, and of course crystals. And the Dol one only holds magic and crystals as well, but not as much as the Vis one. So that's worth noting. So that's what you're going to find when you go mining. Now, there's also stuff spawning other places, like these. So these are called obsidian totems. They spawn around in the world, and you can't mine them with iron, or better I believe, even though they are called obsidian. And they're used for at least one thing in Thaumcraft other than just standing around. And they tend to spawn near magical nodes or aura nodes. And before you ask, I will show you in a minute what an aura node is. And as you can see, it also holds a good deal of aspects. Now, aura nodes are invisible to the naked eyes. There are 4 different kinds, and I happen to know there's one very nearby. So these are the goggles of revealing. You'll have to research how to make them yourself. I won't tell you. But this is an aura node, and when you're wearing the goggles of revealing, you're able to see them. And you can also see down in my left corner, I've gotten a little GUI, which tells me that currently the aura node holds 467 vis, or mana. And flux is minimal. Flux is dangerous magic, and if it builds up, it can have dangerous consequences. The small purple lightning you see shoot out of this one is flux. This is a completely normal node. There are 3 other kinds. There's dark nodes and evil nodes, and I cannot remember which is which, to be honest, but one of them keeps building up flux, it creates it itself, and the other one just has a lot of flux but can only be found inside something that's called burrow hills, which is a building spawned by Thaumcraft. It looks like a small hill when you find it, but there is an entrance on one side, and it will keep spewing out wisp regularly. Now the last one I'll show you a little bit later, because I actually found one of the last type, which is called pure nodes. But before that, I'll show you a few other things this mod adds. First off, it adds these flowers, which can be found in the desert. They're burning flowers, and if you harvest one of them, it gives you blaze powder. You can also use shears on them to get the flower, if that's what you want. The next thing is this giant tree. It's called a great wood. It's a magical tree. And you can find some of them which has cobwebs in them and a spider spawner here in the bottom. So they are a bit dangerous. Then over here I was going to show you some mobs this mod adds, but apparently they despawned, or at least these ones did. So I'll try to get them in. So this is an angry zombie. I had 2 in here before because they can spawn as villager zombies as well. Now they just don't seem to want to. But as you can see, they look like regular zombies, except that they have red eyes. That one's actually out. They're a bit faster and more aggressive than normal zombies, and as you can see, they drop zombie brains. Not all the time, but occasionally. And zombie brains are also used in this mod for a few different recipes. Then this is a wisp. Currently it's down at the ground, and it's in a resting sort of position. If you get near it and it can attack you, it shoots more lightning out of it, and it flies around. So I'm not going to let it out, because it will probably end up killing me. But this is spawned out of evil nodes, or nodes with high flux. Because if you get too much flux in a node, it will generate wisps in a way to reduce the flux in itself. Over here I have set up a small cage, because this one won't live in the overworld. It's found in the nether, and it's called a fire bat, and I'll just do like this. It will, as far as I can see, slowly take damage here in the overworld, but it looks like a bat on fire. And most of the time it has no drops, but I believe it drops gunpowder if you're lucky. Then we have this guy here. He's spawned in villages, and he's a good guy. He also has a tower. It looks like a bit like the church. There is a small village right over here, but it didn't have his building in it, so I just spawned him in. And he wants chicken nuggets, this guy. He will sell you different things, and you can try giving him some chicken nuggets. And before you ask what chicken nuggets are or how you get them, they are created by Thaumcraft, or added by Thaumcraft. And let's just get a few of these, see how he reacts. And he just... Now we can buy these aluminum, which is yeah, Thaumcraft stuff. It's a sort of fuel and a grenade. You can use it instead of coal. In almost all places you can use coal, and it burns a bit better. Or if you right click it, you throw it, and it explodes when it hits the ground. So that's cool. Then here we have a thing called silver tree, or silver wood. They spawn naturally around the world, and at its foot you will see these flowers, and they drop quicksilver. You can also with shears pick up the actual flower and the leaves of this tree if you want. Now they drop saplings extremely rare. I mean, like, you're lucky if you get one per tree. I did actually recently manage to get 3 out of 1 tree, so I thought I had found a way to get saplings easy out of them, but it turned out I was just extremely lucky, because the next 3 trees I found, and I tried the same process with, I didn't even get a single sapling. So saplings from these trees are really rare, and there's a reason for that. But let me just get an axe. And that is because inside all of these trees, whether they spawn naturally or you spawn them from a node, correction, from a sapling, and it might. Okay, inside all of these trees, something special is. It's the pure node, but if 2 nodes get too close to each other, they merge, so that might have been what has happened here. But a pure node looks like the regular node, except there's a sun inside it. You will be able to see something that looks like a sun. So that's and if 2 nodes are too close, as I said, they will merge and make a bigger node and create a little flux in the process. And the good thing about pure nodes is they clean themselves of flux without producing wisps. If they get too much flux, they still create wisps, but over time they will remove all the flux. I have a small fire going here. So I'll just spawn in a bookcase, because the next thing I'm going to show you, which is kind of where the mod starts, is this. When you look inside here, you can see I have a stick, a golden nugget, and all the crystals. Now, this is because the very first thing in this mod you will want to create is made with this recipe and one of these crystals. I believe you can use all of them. Yeah, you can decide yourself. So the one you have found most of, and then you get one of the apprentices. Once you have one of the apprentices, you put down a bookcase. You can see I've got a little GUI when I selected my wand right over my hunger bar, and you can see the wand has vis in it, and it's rising. One of the apprentices can hold 50 vis, and currently you can see it says -5%. That's because I'm wearing these goggles, and as long as I'm wearing those, I get a discount on using vis. So this, I'll just show you before, is the thaumaturgist boots and leggings and robes. It's a special armor this mod adds, and with that complete I get 10 discount on this, so that's worth researching. And once you have it, you can right click the bookcase and you get this really cool effect, and it's called Thaumaturgy. You open it by right clicking it and you get this. Now this explains most of what I have tried to explain so far up here, and over here we see some recipes. Now knowledge fragments are some really cool things to find. You cannot create them yourself, you have to find them around in the world. They will spawn in dungeon chests, not always, but it will happen. And you can find them at that guy, the Thaumcraft villager's chest. He has a chest in his house, or sometimes he sells them. And the reason why they're cool is they have some cool aspects inside them. But more importantly, there are some secret researchers that you can only unlock by having 9 of these knowledge fragments put together to make the research node. There are also secret recipes that you can find on your own, but there are some that needs these. Then there's how to make the wand and stuff. There's also how to make the crucible. You take a cauldron and you whack it with your wonderful princess. But you need fire under it. And that's what I have done over here. I've used lava, but it doesn't matter if it's lava or fire. And as you can see, then if you put water inside it, it starts to bubble. And what that means, I will get into a little later, because first of all we will look in here. See, taking wooden slabs and wooden planks will make you a table. This is the recipe, and it's also in the Thaumaturgy. So let's make 3 of those. First one we'll just place here, and then we'll place 2 next to each other like this. Now furthermore, if you take ink sac, glass bottle or feather, you can get these scribing tools. You can, instead of the glass bottle, use this glass vial. It's made with like a glass bottle, except that it has a piece of clay on top of it as well. So kinda to make the cork. And they are used later on in Thaumcraft, and is quite important later on to avoid getting flux. So let's take these scribing tools. In the 2 tables next to each other, you right click with the scribing tools and you get this. It's this research table. And to use it, you need some paper, which you place here, and then you need something you want to research. Now there's also this down here, which is standard set to cursory, but you can click it and get it to thorough. And let me explain that by taking this gold ingot and placing it up here. You can see it has metallum, 8 of those, and it has carus, which is expensive, precious and valuable, and it has 4 of those. Now by having it cursory, there's a small chance of losing the gold ingot, but also a smaller chance of getting actual research. And what you're researching isn't the gold ingot as such, it's these aspects. And if you put it to thorough, you have a higher chance of losing your gold ingot, but also a bigger chance of getting something out of it. So let's put it on thorough, and let's see if we can find something. Already we found something. And see, we lost the paper, and we got something here called basic transmutation. You can also see there's at least 2 aspects used in this. And you get a piece of paper up here, which you cannot read yet. So let's click a few more times, and luckily we use both metallum and carus. And we have researched carus 50%, and we don't know how much we have researched metallum. And no changes here. So okay, now we know we need a 3rd one as well. and we have researched up to 55% of the research. And furthermore, we get some text here. This text is to tell us, to help us a little to guess the last couple of things. And once you reach 50% of the research, this text shows up. So let's... Okay, so now we have researched these to 100%, and we have gone up to 82 in total. Once we passed 75%, we get to know what the last aspects are. And this one is permutatio, exchange, change, and barter. And I'm getting attacked. And let's get some day. So seeds happen to have this inside them, so let's just research this. You can say herpa grayed out at some point, and that's because it's not used in this recipe. So that's a way, if you don't know what you're researching, once these gray out, you know they're not used in the research you're using. And then you get the scroll, which tells you you have researched these 300%, and the same text as before. And when you have this in your hand and you right click, it disappears and you get a research complete. Then if we look in the Thaumaturgy, we can see there's a symbol here called basic transmutation. And by clicking it, we can see that if we put 2 metallum and 1 charis into a crucible and put 5 vis in there, which we do with the wand, we right click it, we get 2 golden nuggets. So the idea here is you use metallum, you can get it from iron for instance, and then you find charis somewhere, put it in there as well, and then you can get gold. Now the ones that's blinking here, that means there are some research that we haven't found yet. But these are the ones we can research. That's why they're blinking. There are, as I said, also secret ones that you might be able to research already. Now the ones out here, the ones with the B on it and stuff, they are not part of standard Thaumcraft. I have a mod installed that's called Thaumaturgist, which mixes forestry and Thaumcraft a little bit together. So that's really cool, and I will get into it, not in this review, but on in a later video. So that's the basic of research. Now there was a table more I put here. If we right click it with a wand, we get this. It's an arcane work table, and your wand is right here now. We can take it out again and it disappears, so that's a cool little effect. It works like an ordinary work table, except that there are some specific recipes that needs to be made here, and they use a bit of this as well. That's why you have the wand in here. Now, even if you know the recipes, for instance, now I've showed you the recipe for gold, you won't be able to make it until you have got the research yourself. So that's a cool feature, I think. Now, as I said, this is the crucible, and if you throw stuff in it, let's just try throwing quicksilver in it, you can see it has these aspects in it right now. If I take off the goggles, which you won't have when you start out, it will just look like this, and you will have to remember what aspects you put in. Now if I right click it, it will tell me that I didn't get anything. You discover something, but you cannot record blah blah blah. That means everything in there went into the atmosphere, and that produces flux. As I said, flux is bad. This I have put on the side is something you can research yourself, but it's a filter. You can have 4 of those, 1 on each side, and they will store up some of the excess auras or aspects. So when I put on the glasses, you can see there are a little of this wing inside it. And that means the wing didn't go into the aura. And there can be up to 8, I believe. No, there can be 16 in one of these filters. And then you can take this glass vial and take it out, but you can only take out 8 at a time. So if you have less than 8, like we have now, you cannot take it out. And you can put it in these jars, which I have done here just to show you. And again, you have to research these jars first, and that will also help you a lot. You will also be able to, once you have the jars, you might be able to find a research for this brain in a jar, which is basically just an XP battery. It doesn't produce it, and you cannot put your own XP inside it, but if something dies near it, it sucks up the XP, and then you can right click it to get that XP out, which is really cool. Or you can just stare at it because it looks really cool on its own. There's also these crystals, which help you keep your aura up in your area. And this funny looking or cool looking box down here, it's sort of a battery for the aura. If the aura gets too big, meaning there's more vis in it than it can hold, this one will suck it up. Suck up the excess, so you can store it in that. And that's all the basics of this mod. And as I said, most of the stuff in here you won't be able to, the cool stuff you won't be able to make until you have done a lot of research. But this mod adds 2 sets of tools and 2 sets of armor. I've shown you the first set of armor. There's also one made of this called thaumium, which is this here. And thaumium is just magic infused iron, so to speak, or metal. And you can make tools and armor out of it. And the cool thing about thaumium tools is they can hold a lot of enchantments, better than normal tools. Oh, and when we are talking about enchantments, Thaumcraft also adds a few enchantments. But all of these enchantments added by Thaumcraft can only be used on items added by Thaumcraft. Now I have something special here. It's a hungry chest. It works that if you throw something at it, it will suck it up. That in itself is quite cool. But there's something in it I want to show you. Now, again, the hungry chest is added by Thaumcraft, and you have to do the research yourself. Now inside it I have something called an arcane ball. This is one of the highest tier stuff you can research. And I'll just set it up. As you can see, setting it up looks really cool, and it has this really cool effect here at the back. And I need the wand, because you can orientate the drill head by right clicking it on the wand from the side you want it to face, and that looks like that. But before you do that, to use it you need this wand of excavation, which is just a digging tool, you can say, but it has a longer reach than you would normally have yourself, and it digs everything. You'll have to place it inside here, and then you need to place a pickaxe, and I have a special pickaxe here called Pickaxe of the Core, and that's why I've put up metal here, because it digs quite fast, and by right clicking somewhere it will tell you the highest amount, or actually it will show you the aspect with the highest amount in the area. So you can see right here it's dirt, right here it's metal. And when you start mining, once in a while you'll get these. All metals have these native clusters, and if you put them in a furnace you will get 2 ingots out of it. And now, before you ask, you cannot abuse it by putting them in a macerator. It doesn't work. Now it looks like this. when we have put the wand and the pickaxe inside. All we need to do is add a redstone signal, and then it starts mining for us. And as I said, it spits out stuff in the back. You can, however, if you want to, place a chest behind it, and it will automatically fill that chest. And this can be any chest, it doesn't have to be a hungry chest. So that's quite cool if you ask me. And it has this really cool particle effect. And furthermore, you can see it has this properties native clusters because we're using this pickaxe. If we use a normal pickaxe, it disappears. So and this goes for enchantments as well. For instance, if you have fortune on it, this will have fortune as well. You can see the width of the tunnel it will dig, and the speed. So again, if you have something on here, the enchantments, that can be bigger on both of those counts. But it does, however, use a bit of aura. You can see down in my left corner, there's a red arrow pointing down, and you can see the aura is going down. That's because this is digging. I believe every 3 blocks it digs uses 1 aura. Or 1 this. So that's something that's important to remember. So in my opinion, this is a really cool mod. Adds a lot of cool magic stuff, and a lot of powerful but cool magic contraptions. You can see it's way down here, the arcane ball. You will have the ability to get golems who will help you work. And we could just spawn in one if you want to see how they look. You spawn in a wooden golem, which is the first and basic golem. If I can. As you can see, it comes in 5 varieties. I will not tell you what those varieties are. I wonder if we can place it. Yeah. The wooden golem is set on, you can put on anything that has an inventory, so chests basically. And if you throw something near it, it will go and pick it up and put it inside. You can see the wand is right there. So the main use is if you have a chest somewhere and you want it to be filled automatically, the golem is for that. It can carry, I think, 16 blocks at a time. So let's see. Yeah, you need to pick them up in 2. So it looks like this. So generally, this mod has some really cool features, both in actual gameplay, which I think is good. It also has a really nice look. I mean, everything is beautiful skins, and I'm not using a texture pack. This is the standard skin for the mod. So, all in all, I think I will give this 5.5 diamonds out of 6. Because part of me wants to give it the full 6, but the mod just doesn't feel completely finished yet. And I guess it isn't, because he quite often adds new stuff to it. And one of the things way down here is called basic aura manipulation. I won't get into what it does or how it works, but that also tells me that there could be an advanced aura manipulation at some point, but there currently isn't. So, I don't think I have any more to add. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope if you like magic, go download this mod. If you like to spend time researching your stuff before you build it, go download this mod. If you like to be able to build stuff straight away and go to the highest tier as soon as you have the materials, this mod is not for you. So, when all that is said, I hope you enjoyed my video, and take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.